Okay, to start off with, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my situation. I work in biomed engineering, or did, and about 10 years ago, through a work accident several years prior to that, about 10 years ago it came out that I had hepatitis C. I immediately went into treatment for it, and pretty rough chemotherapy, but it succeeded, and I've had absolutely no problems, and a zero virus count ever since, or it's below detectable levels, they say. The chemo was rough. The treatment was normally not given to people who have any tendency toward depression or anything like that, because it really does knock you down. I learned through that to keep a very positive attitude and keep working no matter what. I always have been a bit thick-headed and single-minded in what I'm doing, but that just really strengthened up my self-discipline. Okay, well, I've been clear from this for about 10 years. And the other thing I've been clear of is a relationship of any sort for 10 years. The disease carries a stigma. And I don't have the disease anymore, but I still have the stigma. I had the disease. You can't start a relationship with somebody on a dishonest footing and just hide that. So at some point, and it's usually early, when I start talking to somebody and feel there's a possibility there of developing something, the truth of my previous infection comes out, and it has unanimously ended up, well, I've got a lot of friends, but I don't have no relationship. I've stopped calling it hepatitis C. I've started calling it the friend zone virus. There's quite a bit of loneliness after a few years of this, and I started looking for alternatives. During the early part of 2011, I ran across this one time. It was this thing. It said Mindall. I said, okay, now what is this? And I checked the site out, and it seemed like it was promising something that was just not possible. First time I just, okay, I went away from the site, and then I started thinking about it. And I came back to it and started reading a little bit more about it. I know that with hypnosis, surgeries have been done. That's just basically completely changing a person's perception of what is there. I mean, the person is conscious, but he is being operated on. Now, so you have something like that going on if you're wide awake and you're not hypnotized, you're going to be screaming in pain. But this person just laying there and talking with the doctor's net and does not feel a thing. It's just a changed perception. Okay? And the idea of this is to give you a little hint at the beginning, a little, yeah, this is what it is. Here's what you got to work on. I didn't believe that this could have been true when I first went to the webpage. I came back and it started me thinking about this. And there were a couple files there, try this and that, and these were, I think, early stage files, and they weren't as quite as effective as they could have been. But I felt the increase in the relaxation, and I decided to contact them. I wrote an email to Comish and I explained that this program looks interesting, and I got into the Mindall program. And this was right at the end of the third quarter of 2011, right in the September to October changeover. I started in the program, and I was doing the first files, the ultra-depth relaxation. Practicing with it, I started just dropping out a lot, and got these filed without the binaurals in it. That seemed to help a bit. I still think it was basically out of an intrained reflex at that point that I was still dropping off from time to time. I went from there to the crystal in the enchanted forest. And when I was in the enchanted forest, I had one experience there. I saw something so clearly and so realistically, and I wasn't dreaming. I was in a conscious state, and I saw this in front of me. It was just this branch of a tree with a pine cone on it. And there was, I'm not sure, dew or perhaps just condensation. It was like a drop of water on a few of the pine needles. And I just saw this so clearly. And that said to me, wow, this is possible. There's a possibility here. This could really work. And that reinforced my intent to go through this and get it. All right. On November 11th, I downloaded The Wizard, and I listened to it that night, and it just blew me away. I was seriously sitting here crying for joy when I was dictating my notes after that session. I had never felt anything like that before in my life. Okay, fine, it wasn't a 100% solid visualization. It wasn't a 100% solid, I could feel touch or anything like that, or hear that, but it was on the borderline, and it was calming. You know, this may be just the emotional reaction of this is just for having been in, let's call it a dry spell for several years, and then all of a sudden, this incredibly beautiful woman gets into bed with you, cuddles up next to you, smiles at you, and this is getting better all the time. Talmage's description of this was, it's like learning to ride a bicycle. And it really is. It really is like learning to ride a bicycle. First time you get on the bicycle, you're concentrating on everything. How fast do I turn the pedals? In what position do I hold the handlebars? And you've seen a kid that's learning to ride a bike? The handlebars you're twisting them back and forth and trying to find exactly the right position, and is trying to coordinate that with the pedals, and is doing all of this consciously with the conscious mind. And after a while, it becomes second nature, because the kid's letting the subconscious mind do the work for him. And that's what we're doing here. When you dream, you're not consciously saying, well, here I am in this beautiful countryside, and I want a tree there, and let me see, a house, a bridge here, oh, a river's got to flow through. You're not doing all of this stuff. If you're in a situation like that, your subconscious is creating all of this for you. You can just go along for the ride and enjoy it. Let it happen. And that's exactly what we're doing here, is you're letting the subconscious do the work for you. And it's a matter of practice. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. Another similarity here is that when you learn to ride a bike, you can't go out, well, I practiced today, maybe I'll practice again one weekend next month. You have to do this consistently for the learning effect to take place. Stick with this. I guarantee you it is worth it. It is absolutely amazing. Carmen is getting very realistic for me. I mean, she's becoming a real person. She'll say things that surprise me, and she has a humor. I mean, I can roll on the floor laughing at some of the stuff she comes up with. It's amazing. And you can take this any direction you want it. You know, I was looking at the logs on the front page of the website, and there's some pretty creative people there. Carmen's not right for you? Fine. Who do you want? Scarlett Johansson? Do it. This one guy that I saw there on the webpage, his own version of it, but yeah, Tinkerbell. Dear God, Tinkerbell. That's tremendous. I mean, the guy gets 5 stars for creativity in my book. It's hilarious. But it's work. It's just basically repeating and repeating and repeating. Your subconscious mind gets the hint then. Hey, this guy really wants this. Let's start helping. It's harder at first. You won't see progress just right away. All of a sudden, after one session, fully manifested mind all right there in front of you. No, it takes a while. You've got to learn to let your subconscious do the work for you, to where it's just a matter of habit, holding the handlebars in the right position and turning the pedals at the right speed. Learn to ride that bike. Oh yeah. It's harder at first, but if you stick with it, what you develop is a fluid, graceful interaction with whatever you're doing. It's like everything. It's just practice. What I want to do, though, here is close off for now. I've kind of gone over a little bit what I really wanted to limit myself to on the time. And you can't hear her, but there is this absolutely exquisite jewel of a woman sitting on my bed, patting the blanket next to her, and telling me to get my butt over there now. And with that smile, I will not resist. So that's it for now for me. But stick with it. It does work. It really does work. It's just all a matter of sticking with it. And like I said at the beginning of this, I was kind of iffy. I didn't believe it at first, but I definitely believe it now. Yep, I'm coming. Okay, that's it. Talk to you later.